Hey guys, welcome to part 5 of What If ANBU Naruto went back in time. If you enjoyed the video then like, share and subscribe for more and also check out the description. So let's get started. Chapter 21. As Naruto looked up at the screen he paled slightly and instantly gulped. Haku. Versus. Kabuto. Crap. Kabuto, I swear if you so much as do one jutsu over Shoyunin level, I will kill you. Naruto thought angrily as he glared daggers at the silver-haired nin. My touchy aren't we? Kiba said, trying to lighten the blonde's mood. Calm down and stop leaking killer intent everywhere. Just watch closely and make sure that Haku isn't in any deadly danger. Don't go jumping in without even thinking. I know what you're feeling towards this man, but just remember that he hasn't done anything yet. Kiba said thoughtfully. I know, but it's just so infuriating knowing I can't do much of anything to help. Well, at least not without drawing in further suspicions. Naruto closed his eyes and tried to control his breathing to try to calm himself down. He heard someone sit down beside him and opened his eyes to see Hinata. Naruto looked down to Tsunade who nodded as he motioned questioningly to Hinata. At least she didn't get as beaten up this time. Kakashi come up behind him and Sasuke was inching closer to him as well. Naruto looked to everyone in confusion, and was about to say something when the examiner shouted for the competitors to begin. Naruto shot a quick glance to Shikamaru before glaring down towards the match. Kabuto and Haku instantly jumped back away from each other. Kabuto threw a kunai towards Haku, who simply bent back to dodge. Kabuto jumped forward and tried to kick Haku, thinking the boy had let his guard down. As Kabuto's foot lashed forward, Haku went into a handstand. Haku quickly flipped around and kicked Kabuto in the head as he righted himself. Kabuto hit the ground hard, but grabbed another kunai and blocked an incoming senbon from Haku. I would like to finish this quickly, Haku said as he jumped back from Kabuto. The feeling's mutual, Kabuto grunted as he sprung forward. He's not even trying. That's a relief. Naruto thought as he sighed out a breath, he didn't know he was holding. They both seem to be holding back, although they're still putting forth a small bit of what they can really do. Naruto watched as the two blurs collided every now and then, sending sparks and dust before they seemed to vanish out of sight again. The air began to grow steadily drier as the battle raged on. As Kabuto and Haku broke apart, Kabuto panted slightly while Haku had begun doing his hand signs and water appeared seemingly out of nowhere. Kabuto watched looking somewhat confused as ice started forming around him. Crystal ice mirrors, Haku called as his image appeared on the inner sides of the dome. Sasuke shuddered at the sight of the dome. Naruto smirked, now feeling a little more relaxed knowing that Kabuto was hiding his true strength. Remember Sasuke? What happens in the ice dome stays in the ice dome. Naruto song. Sasuke twitched as his blush reappeared. Shut it. Sasuke stammered. Haku had begun to explain the nature of his bloodline, and was tossing the odd senbon at Kabuto as he did so. And there have only been two people who have escaped from this jutsu, Naruto and Sasuke, due to. Well, I promised not to say what happened, but my teammates were the only ones who ever escaped. Haku finished all the Haku images going shifty-eyed at the fact that even bringing it up he would probably get yelled at. Or questioned. Depending on who got to him first. Quite a nifty little thing this. Kabuto said looking around at the mirrors. Thing about ice though. Fire melts it. He said as he made a few hand signs and blew a fireball towards the nearest mirror. The mirror had a single bead of water roll down it which refroze before it hit the ground. What? How? Kabuto asked, stunned. Haku just smirked as he threw a few more senbon. Don't worry, I won't fully penetrate your vital points. After all, the purpose of this match is to make you unable to move, not kill you. Haku said, earning a few glances from the audience. You won't be able to keep me here forever. Something like this has to be taking a lot of chakra if I stand firm long enough. Kabuto grunted as a senbon pierced his arm. This technique is almost unbeatable. There are no holes in its design. Haku corrected as he threw more senbon, and he moved from mirror to mirror. Kabuto was able to block a large number of the projectiles, but still a small number got through mainly because of how many Haku threw at once. Sakura watched on amazed at the speed of them both before she realized something. Hey, I thought he only had a few senbon left after the stuff that got taken away at the forest entrance. Not to mention what he used in the forest. She said to no one in particular. Ah yes, but there is a weapon shop near the food court, Kakashi said, smiling slightly. Sakura blinked a few times before recalling a small stand hiding at the back of the food court, near the odd-looking potted plants. Oh, I thought that was a bar or something. Swallow this, Kabuto said as he blew a number of fireballs at a single mirror. Not much happened and Kabuto got impaled by a few more senbon while his hands were busy unable to block. Not good enough. You've got too many openings. Haku taunted. You know, this has to be the dirtiest battle, Kakashi commented thoughtfully. Naruto shook his head and turned to ask Hinata something, and realized she had fainted. Guess she's not Haku-proof. Naruto sighed, looking at the unconscious bright red girl. Shikamaru sat, mouth slightly gaping at how calm everyone on Team 7 sounded towards what was coming out of Haku. I take it this is a normal occurrence? He asked. Everyone on Team 7 nodded. He's an innuendo magnet, and makes everyone else contracted. Sakura explained, not meeting his gaze. As Kabuto watched Haku's movements, and blocked several more needles that came his way, he got an idea. He ran for the mirror behind him, only to be shot back by an onslaught of sharp and pointy objects. If I can only wrap my hands around it, I can pull myself out, Kabuto determined, glaring at the slight gap in the mirrors. You won't be able to grab hold onto the edge of my mirrors that easily, Haku stated, throwing a needle into Kabuto's arm. However, if you do manage, all I need to do is turn what you've grabbed onto into water, and you'll slip right off. Damn, the young man hissed in pain. That's gonna be stiff tomorrow, he grumbled as he glared at his opponent. This attack pushed deeper into your flesh. You probably won't be able to use that arm for a while, Haku said, throwing a few more needles at Kabuto's dead arm for good measure. Kabuto tried to hold onto a kunai with his dead arm, but he fumbled it, and it fell to the ground with a clang. It seems the climax has begun, Kabuto started to say as he stood up. He blinked a few times. To the battle, he added quickly. Never mind his ice ability. His specialty is making people say dirty things without realizing it until it's too late. Naruto mumbled. I still have a chance to squeeze the life out of you, Kabuto yelled as he began to throw kunai of his own. Haku thrust a senbon towards Kabuto. Kabuto dodged and planted a kunai in the nearest mirror, an explosive tag attached to it. As it exploded, little bits of metal got shot back at Kabuto. It's always most pleasing to defeat people who don't see it coming, Haku said as he threw a needle at Kabuto, effectively making his leg collapse beneath him. And now Kabuto's on his knees, Sasuke said, smirking. This is pleasurable to watch. Kakashi piped up, deciding to have fun with the current situation. Go Haku. Kabuto sucks, Naruto cheered. Anko twitched as she looked to all of Team 7, not knowing what to do, or who to hit first. Sakura sighed. If you can't beat him, come on Haku. Stop playing WITH him and finish it. Sakura screamed with a smirk on her face. Anko went wide-eyed as she made a mental note to give Kakashi a nice firm talking to. Anko blinked. Great, now they've even got me doing it. Kakashi smirked as he turned to Anko, about to speak. No one asked for your input, Anko screamed to the jounin. Kakashi just laughed and turned back to the match. Haku was beginning to slow down within his mirrors. This didn't go unnoticed by Kabuto. Ah, and here I thought you could go on like that forever. Kabuto watched and threw a kunai at Haku, just grazing the nin's leg. Kabuto smiled. Looks like you'll need to pull out of the competition soon. I will beat you. Then it'll be you who'll be doing all the pulling, Haku declared, throwing a few more weapons. You can try, but I won't let you get me laying down. Kabuto jumped up best he could to dodge. Haku quickly jumped down and gathered a few senbon that were on the ground, replacing his supply. Kabuto had thrown a few more kunai, grazing Haku again in his leg. Kabuto then got an idea. He threw several kunai at a single mirror as the kunai all sailed by the gaps they were caught and swung back, wrapping the mirror in wires. Kabuto then blew a fireball to combine with the explosive tag attached to the kunai and wire. A large explosion made the audience's ears ring as Kabuto was bombarded by shrapnel. Kabuto's mouth fell open. "It's harder than I thought." Kabuto was about to try something else when Haku erupted him. "Stop squirming, and just taste your defeat," he said, pinning Kabuto's limp arm to the ground with a few senbon. As Kabuto tried to retrieve his arm from the needles, his other one got pinned down. "I never was a fan of bondage," Kabuto mumbled to himself before yelling back at Haku, "I'm not done yet." Kabuto tried to use his leg to kick Haku as he jumped out of his mirrors. "It seems you are now on the bottom, and I am on top," Haku declared, putting a foot firmly on Kabuto's chest. "Now, would you like to be stiff and rigid, or limp and hanging?" Haku asked as he fingered the point of the senbon he was holding. Haku didn't wait for an answer and threw the senbon, hitting Kabuto in the neck and making him pass out. As soon as Kabuto's eyes closed and his head fell to the side, the mirror shattered and rained down in a crystallized state, but melted once it hit the ground. "No matter how fast you are, I am always faster," Haku said smugly before he walked away towards the stairs. The examiner was bright red, and in a slight state of shock, murmuring to himself, and a few of the medical nins around him. "Are you going to have a mass debate about what just happened, or just announce the winner?" Haku asked as he passed him towards the stairs. Right. Haku, W wins," he stammered out before coughing a little. "Good job, Haku. You totally blew him away," Sakura said, smirking. "Thank you. I'm glad I had you all behind me. To be honest, I was worried I wouldn't be able to beat him. I sensed a lot of power from him," Haku said, plopping down behind Sakura and Sasuke. "I always was better at battles where I can be in and out quickly." Thankfully, Kabuto wasn't even trying, but still, why did he throw the match? More importantly, what does he think he's accomplishing? Naruto thought with a sigh. Well, it's not like you can just go up and ask him. Nor can you really spy on him either. Well, not without causing trouble. No, I can't. However, Tsunade should be able to keep watch on him, or at least order someone to keep watch on him, claiming it's a medical thing. Let's just hope he doesn't try anything until the second half of the exams though. Kiba said thoughtfully, but just to be safe, try to find the super pervert as soon as possible. Right. At least this time, when things happen, I'll be ready for them. Shikamaru was watching Naruto as he stared off into space, nodding and making faces as if he was trying to figure out something or having a conversation. The brunette shrugged it off quickly after noticing that the next match had started. Lee and Gaara were currently fighting with their all, trying to best the other. Once Naruto snapped out of talking with Kiba, he began to intently watch the fight below him, trying to pinpoint the place where he should intervene. His eyes began to dart nervously between the two below him as Lee took off his enormous weights, making Sakura gasp, and the fight continued. Soon the moment came when Lee was about to be trapped by Gaara's sand. Naruto jumped down and went to pick Lee up off from where he fell. Unfortunately, Gaara's sand grabbed onto Naruto's right arm and left leg. "The match is over. You're the winner, but if you continue to attack Lee you will be disqualified," the examiner said as a snap was heard coming from Naruto. Gaara smirked and released his sand, thinking he had caused some serious damage. A few people in the audience paled and screamed his name. Lee's eyes widened as he realized what Naruto had saved him from. Naruto, however, just smirked back at Gaara. As the sand receded, fine white dust fell along with it. "Way better than a steel guard," Naruto smirked as he rolled his wrist. His elbow cracked as he was finally able to straighten his arm. "Gaara, was it? I must thank you for getting that thing off of me." And with that he began to walk up the stairs, feeling Gaara's killer intent and anger rising. Naruto was walking with a small limp from his leg being slightly crushed, but it wasn't anything he knew Kiba couldn't handle. When he got back to where his team was, The next match had begun. As Naruto looked to his team, Sakura was the first to voice the thoughts of almost everyone nearby. You should really get a new cast put on, or at least have a medic nin look your arm and leg over, she said, eyeing the blonde's right arm wearily. Bah. Not to worry. I'm a quick healer, Naruto said, rolling his wrist for emphasis. Sakura quickly grabbed his arm and pressed and squeezed a few spots down hard. When not a sound was heard from Naruto, she blinked. I've heard of fast healing, but that's ridiculous. A day to heal a broken bone. Even with a medical ninja's help, you'd normally be out for at least 2 weeks minimum, Sasuke stated, glaring at the blonde. Naruto just shrugged while Kakashi just smiled. Don't worry. Naruto's just always been a fast healer. Call it his specialty, if you will. Naruto glared at the Jounin and inwardly smacked his forehead. Also, against Kiba, it's almost like you knew his weakness. And you seemed well prepared to use it to your advantage, Shikamaru mumbled. I like pulling pranks, which is why I had the stink bomb, and I knew he had a really strong sense of smell if that's what you mean. I was surprised as well. Normally when Naruto fights he ends up chasing his tail a bit before finding out how to beat his opponent. More so playing by ear to the unexpected, Kakashi said thoughtfully. Naruto's glare intensified on the Jounin, and a twitch made itself known on his eyebrow. Don't you start too, he growled, making Kakashi recoil in mock innocence. Kyubi laughed. Don't forget to keep an eye. Shhuatiitt. The Hokage had chose that moment to begin explaining what would happen next with the Shoyunin exams. We will hold the second half in precisely 1 month. Use this time wisely to rest and train appropriately. Now, can all the winners of their matches please come down and grab a piece of paper from this box? Naruto put his hand into the box and pulled out the same number as last time. He gave the number back to the examiner, who noted his name and number down. Soon they had a chart with all the Shoyunin hopefuls' names on it. As they looked to the chart, Naruto smirked. Naruto vs Neji. Gaara vs Sasuke. Kankuro vs Shino. Temurai vs Shikamaru. Dashi vs Haku. Naruto glanced at Neji, only to have him glare at his gaze. You're going down, Neji, Naruto said, pointing at the stoic nin. The fates speak differently, however. Your loss is imminent, Neji said simply. A dropout can never best a genius. Well then. We'll see who comes out as the victor when the time comes, but until then, use this time wisely and prepare for your upcoming battle. The Hokage interrupted the conversation. Dismissed. Chapter 22. As all the genin came out of the forest, they all slowly dispersed. Naruto searched around a bit before spotting Hinata. He jogged over to her and greeted her before they began to walk off together. The sun was getting low in the sky and would soon begin to set. Naruto had suggested they just go up to the Hokage monument and watch the sunset. She agreed with a small blush and the two walked off. As they walked, Naruto ignored the stares as usual, however the people who glared at the young blonde got glared back at by Hinata. Her actions got Naruto to look over and smile at her. Imagine, the Hyuga heiress hanging around with trash like that. Naruto heard one of the villagers say. Hinata glared at the person, making their eyes widen. Naruto smiled at the shy Hyuga, knowing full well how she can act when it came to protecting the people she deeply cared about. Naruto leaned into Hinata's ear and whispered. Don't worry, let them look. I'm sure they're just jealous, he said. Hinata nodded after shooting a last glare towards the staring villagers. As they made their way to the top of the Hokage monument, Naruto showed Hinata his favorite spot on top of the fourth's head. Naruto was about to sit down beside her when he remembered something. Hinata, I'll be back in a second, I just want to check on something, Naruto said before jogging off to the nearby woods. He bit his thumb and quickly ran through a few seals. When he slammed his hand on the ground, Kyubi appeared. The small fox looked around groggily before realizing where he was. Meh. What's this about? He asked once he came out of his snooze-induced daze. Well, I figured you could enjoy yourself. After all, you did help me defeated that snake freak. Naruto replied, placing a hand on the fox's head and ruffling his fur. Well, alright. I won't complain. This area is good for rabbits, plus tonight should be a full moon. You know how much I like being out to enjoy it. Kiba said as he licked his lips. You should have enough energy to last until noon-ish tomorrow. Have fun now. Naruto waved as the fox trotted off. As Naruto turned to leave, he spotted a small patch of flowers and decided to pick a few. They looked to be wild marigolds, and when he came back to the shy girl, he handed her the flowers. Thank you. They're beautiful, Hinata said as she took the flowers. Naruto laid back to watch the sunset while Hinata looked unsure. Come on, I don't bite. Usually. Naruto coaxed as he patted the spot beside him. Hinata turned bright red, but leaned back onto Naruto's arm. The two didn't talk much, and just sat up on the monument enjoying each other's company. As the setting sun painted the sky an orangey-purpley color, a single star shone above the pair. As Hinata stared at it, Naruto spoke. You should make a wish on it. Naruto said, staring up at the small point of light. Hinata nodded slightly and closed her eyes. Naruto smiled and watched as the full moon began to bathe everything in a silvery light. Naruto shifted his gaze over to Hinata's face. As she opened her eyes, she looked over to Naruto. And Naruto. She never got to finish, not that she needed to. Naruto had leaned over and kissed her. When they broke apart, Hinata felt stunned but happy. My wish came true, she thought. Naruto went back to looking up at the steadily darkening sky, as did Hinata, who was now redder than ever with a large smile on her face. I really like you, Naruto-kun. Hinata said softly, making Naruto smile. That's good, 'cause I like you too, Naruto said, gazing up at the moon. Hinata felt her face burn hotter, but didn't feel faint. As the moon moved steadily across the sky, the two drifted into a deep sleep, held within the other's arms. The next morning, Hinata awoke with a smile, feeling like she had just awoken from a very pleasant dream. As the morning sounds of the forest entered her ears, she opened her eyes, immediately noticing something was off. For one, she was laying on something warm. For another, there was an arm around her. As he moved her head to the side so she could look up, she saw that she had fallen asleep in Naruto's company, and he was sprawled on his back with his left arm around her. She had managed to move closer to him in the night, and had managed to get her head into the nook of Naruto's neck. She reburied her face in his neck as Naruto's head fell to the side back onto the top of hers. She closed her eyes once more, knowing the sun was just beginning to rise, wanting to make the moment last as long as she could. Sakura, Haku, and Sasuke had arrived at the bridge, the usual meeting place of Team 7, and had begun to wait for their sensei. Sasuke glared at the sun as it began to grow steadily higher above the treetops. Kakashi had wanted them all there at 7 in the morning, but the genin had shown up at 8, knowing full well that Kakashi wouldn't be there. Sakura sighed as she plopped down on the bridge, and eyed a bird that landed not too far off and had begun searching for food. Haku had leaned back with his eyes closed, thinking he could get in some more sleep. An hour or so later, a poof was heard as Kakashi popped in, waking Haku up. It could be just me, but I think this team is short a member, Kakashi said as he reached for his book. Sakura slapped her forehead. We forgot to tell Naruto. I knew it was too quiet. Well, it's his own fault for leaving so quickly after he got out of the forest, Sasuke said angrily. Well, no matter. We still need to find him. Any ideas? Kakashi asked with a sigh. Check the ramen shop. That idiot is always there inhaling ramen, Sasuke said as he began to head off towards Ichiraku. Or he could have done some training and passed out in a ditch somewhere, Sakura wondered as she jogged after Sasuke. Perhaps he just slept in, Haku suggested as he took off after the pair. Kakashi blinked. I was going to say if we split up it would be faster. Oh well, he mumbled as he took off after his students. As they approached the ramen stand, they saw there was no one even in there. Deciding to check Naruto's apartment, they found a mess, but no Naruto. Kakashi thought a bit before they went off again, checking around the training grounds. Soon they found him atop the Hokage monument. On top of the fourth's head to be exact. As Kakashi looked to the blonde he smirked. Guess I should wake them. Kakashi thought to himself. Sasuke raised an eyebrow at the sight of his teammate. Idiot, he said as he began to approach. Inner Sakura squealed slightly at the thought of Sasuke holding her like that. Outwardly she wed at the sight. As Sasuke got closer, Naruto moved slightly, causing Sasuke to shift away from the blonde. Naruto just buried his face deeper into Hinata's hair. Sasuke's shoulders sagged as he realized he had flinched at a sleeping Naruto. Haku smiled as he looked at Naruto and Hinata. That must be one of his very important precious people. Kakashi came up to the sleeping pair with a smirk hiding behind his mask. So how should we wake them? Kakashi said, turning to Sakura and Sasuke. We could dump cold water on them. Sakura suggested. How about we just Sasuke never got to finish. Kakashi had lowered himself into a crouch beside Naruto and Hinata. His eye turned into a U as his shadow drew across their sleeping faces. Kakashi looked around a moment before finding a small cluster of dew on the nearby grass. He wiped his hands through the water droplets as an evil gleam appeared in his eye. Kakashi then proceeded to stick his smallest finger into the sleeping blonde's ear canal with one hand while dripping water droplets onto Hinata's nose with the other. Both the genin's eyes raced open. Hinata jumped up to wipe her face while Naruto punched Kakashi. You jerk! What the hell was that for? Naruto screamed, sticking his own finger in his ear to get the water out. Hinata blushed as she realized she had been caught sleeping beside Naruto. Sakura giggled at the blushing Hinata, who refused to meet anyone's gaze. I'm sorry, Hinata, I didn't mean to fall asleep on you. Naruto said, looking up from hitting Kakashi. And no, it's alright. Hinata stammered out. Naruto bent down and picked up the wilted flower he had given her the night before. You can always turn it into a pressed flower. Naruto said optimistically. Hinata nodded. Naruto, we were waiting for you. When someone is later than me, you know something has happened. Kakashi said with apparent humor in his voice. Hinata, you might want to find your team. They might be looking for you. Kakashi said, turning towards the blushing girl. Why yes, I will. Goodbye, Naruto-kun. And with that, she took off down towards the training grounds. Although she was relieved to be away from the awkwardness with Team 7, she was reluctant to leave Naruto. She looks happy to have been able to sleep with you, Naruto. Haku said. Naruto rubbed the back of his head before turning to Kakashi. What did you need me for? Naruto asked once the girl was out of sight. Training dope? Sasuke said, crossing his arms. Shall we be on our way then? Kakashi asked his team. Team 7 looked at each other before shrugging and walking after Kakashi. As they were walking towards the training grounds, Sasuke caught a flash of movement in the corner of his eye. Kakashi saw it too. Kiba had found Naruto. Unfortunately, he was with his team. As Kiba watched them come closer and closer to his hiding spot under the leaves of a small shrub, the fox was debating what to do. He could dispel himself and allow himself to be able to talk to Naruto mentally. Unfortunately, Naruto would just need to re-summon him later. He settled upon just letting Naruto see him. He should be able to figure it out. I wouldn't do this if I wasn't sure this was important. Kiba grit his teeth as he tried to figure out what would be the better thing to do. Suddenly a hand grabbed the startled fox by the scruff of the neck. Looks like I found what's been following us. Haku said as he lifted the fox up to eye level. Kiba lifted half his lip up, showing his teeth. Ah. It's so cute. Sakura said, coming over to look at the animal. Naruto blinked as Sakura took the fox in her arms. Kiba's front paws and head were over her back as the fox looked to Naruto. Sakura squealed and cuddled with the squirming animal. Kakashi's eye widened. Abnormally long ears, hand-like front paws, darker than normal red fur. Kiba. Kakashi looked to Naruto, who gave a nervous smile and scratched the back of his head. Naruto glared back to the fox, who tilted his head in an attempt in a shrug. Sasuke took the fox by the scruff and looked into his eyes. Kyubi had changed their color when he was grabbed, so they looked yellow with red rims. Kyubi gave Naruto a pitiful look as a sign for help. You know, I think there's something odd about this thing, Sasuke said as the animal looked back towards his dark-haired captor. Sasuke locked eyes with Kyubi. Suddenly Kyubi got an idea, and, being so close to Sasuke's face, figured it would be easy. Kyubi licked at Sasuke's nose, and when Sasuke drew back at the saliva that had been put on his face, Kyubi kicked his back paws up and scrambled at Sasuke's shoulder. Sasuke winced as claws dug into his flesh. The fox leapt onto Naruto's shoulder as he was coming up from behind Sasuke. Naruto could tell that the fox wanted to get to him. Kyubi curled around his neck and acted like he was trying to nip at Naruto's ear. Sound Nin's acting suspicious. Follow? Kyubi whispered into his ear. Naruto flinched, making Kyubi lose his balance. He quickly regained it and placed his paw on his bare neck. Naruto tensed his shoulder, letting Kyubi know he understood, and at once they put a silent plan into action. Ow! Stupid fox bit me! Naruto yelled, attempting to whack the animal off his shoulder. The fox growled loudly as it avoided Naruto's flailing and stayed on. Naruto pulled at the knot at his headband, loosening it as he pretended to whack at Kyubi again. Kyubi got the hint and grabbed at the loose end of the cloth, then jumped off Naruto's shoulder with the headband in his jaws. Kyubi wagged his tail in a playful manner as Naruto balled a fist. Hey! Give that back, you fuzz brain! Naruto yelled as he threw himself at the fox. Kyubi took off back into the woods with all 5 ninja chasing him. Naruto was in the lead with Kakashi in a close second. Naruto, you idiot! Just leave it. You can always get a new headband. Sakura yelled from behind. No, I can't. Uruka-sensei gave me his when I became a ninja. Naruto said back, turning his head to talk to her and almost running into a tree. See? This is why I don't like animals. Sasuke said in annoyance. They're nothing but problems. They can also be wonderful companions. Haku said simply. And they're cute. Sakura chirped in. As the group ran, the fox began to slow down. It dropped Naruto's headband by a clump of bushes and rocks. As Naruto went over to pick it up, he saw the Sound Nins. There were 5 standing in a circle over a large piece of paper. Naruto motioned to his team to keep silent and come over. They all managed to hide behind the rocks and leaves without being heard or seen. So where do we attack? One of the enemy shinobi asked in a hushed tone. Here is where we are going to be. We will hide here and wait for the signal. Another one said. Konoha won't know what hit it. A third said. Alright then, we all know the plan, now let's go before we're discovered. The second said to the other 4. They all nodded to each other before one rolled up the map and tucked it away into a pocket. Naruto looked over to where Kyubi was hiding and gave him a silent thank you. Haku noticed the silent exchange between Naruto and the fox, but said nothing. We should report this to the Hokage. Sakura half-yelled once the Sound Nins had gone. Kakashi nodded. I doubt we're going to be getting in much training anyway. Although, I still want you all to do a teamwork exercise. Though, the one I have in mind will need a lot more than a training ground. Kakashi said. I'll go report to the Hokage. In the meantime, go to our usual training grounds and practice taijutsu and ninjutsu until I get there. Then I'll explain your teamwork exercise. So, bye. And with that, Kakashi poofed away. Okay then. Naruto said as he turned to leave. Haku shrugged and began to follow. Sasuke made a grunting noise and walked off as well, Sakura following close behind. Haku was watching the Narutos as he walked. I guess there's more to you than I first thought. I hope you may be able to tell me what relationship you have with that fox. Haku smiled as he jogged to catch up to Naruto. I just need to get him alone to talk with him. Chapter 23. As Team 7 made it to the pre-described training grounds, Naruto stretched. It was a beautiful day. Birds were singing, there were only a few clouds drifting lazily through the sky, a mouse scurried about, and a nearby squirrel chattered happily. Naruto smiled, but couldn't put away his gut feeling. It was a nice day. Too nice. It was the kind of scene you'd see before something horrible happened. Except minus the cheery music. He rubbed his stomach idly, trying to find the source of his uneasiness. He looked around and focused. Naruto's eyes soon widened at the cause of his unease. His teammates stared at him as he made several faces. Spandex! Naruto shouted out suddenly. The remaining Team 7 members blinked. You okay? Sakura asked, watching as Naruto looked around nervously before charging up a tree. Sasuke shook his head in exasperation. You still want to go half on the Happy Hotel? He asked with a sigh. Sakura was about to answer, but Haku caught sight of what Naruto had earlier. Gah! Quickly! Hide! Dive! Climb! He screamed out as he too climbed up the tree. Sakura and Sasuke were left standing at the bottom of the tree, looking up into its branches, trying to locate their insane teammates. Get down here! Sasuke demanded. Crazy bastards! He said as an afterthought. So I guess now woo. Sakura started to speak when her breath was punched out of her, making her words come out into a wheezing noise. Sakura suddenly believed that she was the crazy one for not running up the tree when she had the chance. Sakura-chan. I thought I saw your youthful spark. Lee shouted as he took Sakura into a death hug from behind. Sakura held out her arms, helplessly flexing her hands as if trying to grab the tree in front of her to whack Lee with it. Ah. And Sasuke too. I hope we will be able to spar. Lee said, releasing Sakura and giving the nice guy pose to Sasuke, teeth lighting up the forest. Sakura fell to the ground and was left gasping for air. She was planning to escape when Guy-sensei came over and stood behind Sasuke. In the tree, Naruto looked down to the ground with Haku. Naruto shuddered, knowing all too well what power that attack held. Naruto had fled up the tree mainly to escape a death hug of his own, knowing full well that Lee never forgot what someone did for him. And never let them forget it either. Naruto really didn't want to be made an honorary spandex scout. Mostly always fear their ocean sunset. Naruto advised Haku as quietly as he could. Haku's eyes widened and twitched as well, remembering what Naruto had said about the two below him. Lee alone is fine, and one could handle his outbursts. Guy alone is a bit scarier, but otherwise mostly okay unless paired with Kakashi. Guy and Lee together, though, was something to be feared. Something that no ninja would want to be near unless they had no other choice. But most importantly, stay the hell away from the hugs. And when they start shouting each other's names back and forth, make sure for the love of air, or if you just plain like functioning lungs and breathing, you're not caught in between them. Haku now understood what Naruto meant as he watched a gasping Sakura below him. Sakura-chan, please, go on a date with me. Lee shouted as his teeth pinked. First you gasp. Try to kill me. Wheeze. Then you ask me to date you. Sakura got up and began winding up a punch. Not on your life. She went to punch, but Lee bent down on his knee and grasped Sakura's hand. Do not worry, Lee. Your flame of youth is strong enough to charm any lady. Guy pinked. Please. Lee tried again. A little less shout, and a little more pout was put to play. No. Sakura shouted as she moved to hide behind Sasuke. Sasuke twitched, but didn't move, focusing all his attention on the two green beasts. What are you doing out here anyway? I thought you were ordered to take it easy. Sasuke said, noticing all eyes moved to him. I was training. I couldn't win my match, so I must train twice as hard as before. Lee shouted happily. And Lee, my adorable youthful student, you will be stronger than ever before. Guy said, pumping his fist for emphasis. Guy-sensei. If I do not win Sakura's heart, I will run 100 laps around the village. Lee yelled to his sensei. And if you do not run 100 laps around the village, I will do 500 push-ups. Guy boasted. And if you are not able to do 500 push-ups, then I will do 1,000 jump ropes. Lee wailed, tears starting to form. Now watch Sasuke closely, Haku. This is what not to do when caught in between a Guy and Lee hug. Naruto sat up in the tree, pointing to the spectacle below them. Haku nodded, fighting the smile as Naruto sounded like an old instructional video. Observe Sakura. She'll demonstrate what you're supposed to do when this occurs. Hopefully. Naruto continued. This will hopefully demonstrate the do's and don'ts of dealing with Guy and Lee. Haku swallowed a laugh. Lee. Guy cried. Guy-sensei. Tears flowed forth. Lee. Gia started to move forward. Guy-sensei. Lee ran to his teacher, arms stretched out. Lee. Guy got down on one knee, tears flowing like waterfalls. Guy-sensei. Lee stopped a few feet away, leaving just enough room for Sasuke and Sakura, who were cowering in between the two. Lee. Sakura bolted away as Guy leapt forward. Guy-sensei. Lee jumped to his sensei while Sasuke whipped his head back and forth as the hug of death crashed towards him. An ocean sunset seemed to appear in the background. Sasuke tried to scream only to find his lungs were failing him. Sasuke was stuck as the two spandex-wearing ninja cried on either side of him, slowly soaking his shirt. When Guy and Lee broke apart, they instantly ran off as fast as they could, screaming about what they would do if the other failed to do something else. Sasuke stood there for a few seconds on unsteady legs before he finally collapsed to his side, twitching slightly. Sakura looked to the tree, fire flaring in her eyes as she hit it as hard as she could. Haku and Naruto were knocked out of it. And that concludes the do's and don'ts pertaining to Guy and Lee. Naruto said quickly as Sakura aimed a punch to his head. Hey! What was that for? Naruto asked as he dodged another blow. Warn us all next time, idiot. Sakura growled as Naruto jumped and stuck to the side of a tree. Naruto just shrugged. Just look what you did to Sasuke. She screamed, noticing Sasuke was still on the ground and seemingly knocked out. She threw another punch just as a poof was heard. Kakashi blocked the punch that sailed towards him and looked cautiously around the clearing. I said practice attacking, not try to kill each other. Kakashi sighed as he looked to Sasuke. Anyway, your teamwork and trust assignment is pretty simple in design, but will take a lot of work to be able to get it right. Kakashi said, eyeing all the genin in front of him. It will also be for my entertainment. Kakashi said with an eye smile, causing the conscious genin to face vault. Do we even want to know what you're planning? Naruto asked in monotone. Probably not. But regardless, you'll be doing it. Kakashi said evilly. Sasuke sat up and wheezed, eye twitching slightly as Kakashi began to explain the team's exercise. You know, by the look on Kakashi's face while he was explaining the assignment, I thought it would be a lot harder than this. Sakura said. Speak for yourself. Naruto half yelled. What's the matter, Dobe? Don't you trust me? Sasuke asked sarcastically as he punched Naruto a bit, trying to make him move. Oh, of course I trust you. I trust you'll run me into a tree or off a cliff. Naruto said, still not budging. I'm not having any problems. Haku said. Meh, Naruto. Kakashi said, coming over to the stubborn blonde. It's the rules. You have to let Sasuke lead you around for all of today, and keep the blindfold on. You have to trust him to not run you off a cliff, and Sasuke will have to trust you not to exact revenge if he does. Kakashi, I smiled to his team. Remember to lead your partner wherever they want to go, and the only time you can take the blindfold off is when you're inside a bathroom. We'll switch it up until everyone has had a turn with everyone else. Have fun now. I'll be watching. And with that, Kakashi poofed away. And I was hoping to hold Urika to his ramen promise too. Naruto mumbled. Sakura, could you bring me to a pet food place? Haku asked. Sakura nodded, and soon the pair disappeared. Ramen? Sasuke asked, getting an evil gleam in his eye. Naruto sighed. Fine then, let's go. Naruto said reluctantly. Sasuke gave Naruto a push towards the main shopping district, and Naruto took a tentative step forward. Oh, ha, very funny. Naruto said as he walked right into a tree. I'm hating this just as much as you are, you know. Sasuke said angrily, though he was smirking. And I have 3 heads. Naruto mumbled, sticking his hands out in front of him. Stupid trees and their almost invisible chakra signature. Despite Naruto's doubts, Sasuke had gotten him to where he needed to be. Uriko was at the academy and was just finishing up his morning class when Naruto and Sasuke came up to him. Uriko looked to the pair confused. Hi Naruto. Sasuke. What's with the blindfold? He asked somewhat concerned. It's Kakashi's stupid training exercise. Naruto said with a sigh. So far all I've learned is that Sasuke likes to steer me into trees, poles and fences. And though amusing, this training is pointless. I should be training for the Shoyunin exams. Sasuke said angrily. Well, in a way this is kinda good training. We're honing our other senses when we're the one blindfolded. Like I can hear your angry breaths and sense your chakra levels rising. Naruto stated, causing Sasuke to blink. I see. Uriko said with a smile. He's trying to get you to trust each other and to help you hone your senses to be able to predict your opponent's moves with more than your eyes. I don't really blame him for doing this trust thing. It must have hit him pretty hard when he found out what Sasuke was eventually going to do. Still, this is not going to prevent much. Naruto thought. So, you promised to take me out for ramen. Naruto said, pointing towards Uriko. That I did. I was just hoping to get my paycheck in before you asked me. Uriko said as he took out his wallet and began counting his money. Naruto laughed as they began to head towards the ramen stand. About a half hour later, and a much thinner wallet on Uriko's part, Naruto spoke after downing the last of his broth. Okay, so let's go to training ground 3 and have a spar. Naruto said, sitting his bowl down. He had a few noodles on his shirt from his failed attempts to get his chopsticks into his mouth. Uriko sighed slightly, pouting over his wallet, but he was still happy Naruto had made it to the finals. Sasuke grunted, giving the let's go as he pushed the blonde up. I'll see you again Naruto, and I'll treat you again after the Shoyunin exams are over, alright? Uriko called as Sasuke yet again steered Naruto into a garbage bin. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Naruto mumbled as he finished rubbing his knee. More than you can imagine. Sasuke smirked. Naruto let out a sarcastic laugh as they continued on to their destination. Naruto stood in the attacking position about 5 feet away from Sasuke. Sasuke lunged and Naruto ducked under a punch. Sasuke stared at the blonde. Maybe there's something to this. Sasuke thought as he dropped to kick Naruto's legs out. Naruto backflipped away, but hit his head on a log. Sasuke tried to drop kick Naruto, but the blonde nin rolled out of the way. Sasuke then threw a kunai, pinning Naruto to the tree he rolled into. He quickly leapt, using his arm to put pressure on the blonde's neck. One for me, Sasuke said as he unpinned Naruto. The two ended up sparring until sundown. Naruto slowly made it harder on Sasuke, easily predicting his movements, making the black-haired nin work harder to hide his chakra and be quiet. Too loud. I could hear you a mile away. Naruto laughed as he jumped out of the way of a punch. I can feel your chakra rising. As Sasuke got better at hiding his signs of attack, Naruto moved faster, making himself harder to hit, which in turn made Sasuke have to hide his signals faster. When Sasuke finally became too tired to train anymore, he and Naruto fell backwards, Naruto lifting the blindfold off. Naruto blinked a few times, allowing his eyes to adjust to the bright light of the moon. 26-25. I win. Sasuke panted out. Yeah, and you improved quite a bit. Gaara won't stand a chance. Naruto said. Few more days and I should be able to find Drea. I'm still better than you, Sasuke said. Never mind that sand jerk. Itachi, I will kill you. The two fell asleep there in the training field within a few minutes of laying down. When they woke up the next morning, Sasuke was the one who donned the blindfold as the training continued. Naruto gave a punch to Sasuke's head, letting his chakra out enough so the black-haired nin could pick it up. Unfortunately, no matter how much he leaked out, Sasuke seemed as lost as ever. Naruto sighed, knowing he was making enough noise too. Sasuke stood up, waiting for the next move. Naruto kicked at Sasuke's legs, causing the Uchiha to fall back and be pinned by Naruto. Wow, you're really bad at this. Naruto laughed as he helped Sasuke up. What is it now? 10-0, I believe. Naruto smirked. This is pointless. Sasuke half yelled in frustration. Just gotta concentrate. I mean, if I can do it, surely the great Uchiha Sasuke should be able to do it with ease. Naruto smirked, knowing full well how to motivate his dark-haired friend. If I was to go any easier on you, I would be standing still. That did it. Sasuke's anger rose as he attacked Naruto. Naruto dodged out of the way as Sasuke ran into a rock. Naruto kept his movements silent as Sasuke charged at Naruto from spot to spot until Sasuke caught him. One for me. He snapped as Naruto smirked. As the day went on, Sasuke was slowly getting better at sensing Naruto, who was suppressing his chakra more and more. Soon Naruto was getting a bit tired from the constant movement, as was Sasuke. Suddenly a wisp of smoke appeared next to Naruto. Sasuke attacked the chakra spike just as Kakashi appeared. Kakashi was greeted with a punch to the head just as the word "yo" left his concealed lips. Kakashi was bowled over by Sasuke, who soon realized the person he was sitting on was too big to be Naruto. As Sasuke felt slightly embarrassed, Kakashi sighed. I really have to stop popping in to be attacked by my students. Oh, and Sasuke, get your finger out of my eye. I only have one I can use on a day-to-day basis, you know. Kakashi shoved his student to the side as he got up. Kakashi faced Naruto and I smiled, making Naruto fidget. What? Naruto asked, finally giving up on waiting. Well, you're the only one here who can see me smiling. Kakashi said in an overly pleasant way. Great. So what's the matter, Kakashi? Naruto asked as Sasuke tried to join the two only to stumble over a rock. Kakashi, I smiled. Well, I just wanted to see how you were coming along. Naruto smirked as Sasuke fell. And I was talking with Tsunade. Kakashi's smile never wavered. And? Naruto asked, tapping his foot. She wants to talk to you, so in the meantime, I'll keep watch of Sasuke and direct him around. Kakashi watched as Sasuke ran himself into a tree trying to get back over to Kakashi and Naruto before falling down a small hill. And make sure he doesn't run off that cliff. Naruto nodded. Where is she? If I recall, she said she was by the hot springs. Kakashi's eye smile seemed more than just amused at Naruto's reaction. Great, sounds like she caught Ero Sannin. Naruto said before turning to leave. He waved to Kakashi, who giggled a bit as he watched Sasuke walk into yet another tree. Chapter 24. As Naruto raced along trying to get to the hot springs as quick as he could, he realized two things. One, as he passed by Shikamaru, the brown-haired boy looked up and watched him fly from treetop to treetop before attempting to follow. 2. If Tsunade caught the pervy sage peeping, he needed to move faster or Drea would be dead by the time he got there. As Naruto sped up, Shikamaru was left in his dust, leaving the boy to only ponder further. Hey kid, think you'll be needing me for this? If not, I smell rabbit. Kyubi hinted, licking his lips. Naruto sighed and quickly summoned the fox on the tree branch as he landed, but didn't stop. Kyubi smirked as he jumped down after making sure there wasn't anyone below him. Soon Naruto arrived at the hot springs to see something he wasn't exactly expecting. Tsunade was hiding in a bush looking through the branches, and as Naruto approached, he too looked through the bush. Spying on a spy now? Naruto asked as he spotted Drea peeping in on the girls in the spa. Actually, thinking on the best way to say surprise. Tsunade said with a smirk. I distract him while you attack then. Naruto asked with a glint of evil in his eye. You got it, brat. She said as she stood up and moved closer to the building. Should we tell him of our situation? Naruto asked. Maybe later. I'll have a word with him after I take revenge. Tsunade said evilly. But we just met him here and... Naruto trailed off at the look in the medical nin's eye. Oh, he hasn't yet, but he will. She said as Naruto decided it was time to move. Naruto quickly did a henge and walked over to the perverted man. Naruto smirked as she flattened out her orange dress that hugged her curves. Excuse me. Naruto started in an innocent tone. Drea immediately looked up in aggravation, but once his eyes fell on Naruto, he began to drool a bit. Why, yes. What can I help you with? And might I say you're a beautiful woman? Have you ever considered modeling? See, I have this book I write in. Jiraiya began to babble on perversely, but Naruto silenced him. Oh well, I was just wondering if you'll look over there for all of 2 itty-bitty seconds. Naruto said, batting his her eyelashes, and pouted slightly as he pointed over the Sannin's shoulder. But of course. I aim to please. He said, drool flowing freely from his mouth and blood from his nose as his eyes drifted to the lady's chest. As the man turned around, he was met with a punch to the face. Stop peeping on naked woman, you pervert. Tsunade yelled as loud as she could and smirked as she heard a few screams from within the springs. Naruto smiled as a woman poked her head over the fence to glare at Jiraiya before the rally started. All the women who were in the spa came out fully clothed and cracking knuckles at the only visible man in their vicinity. Jiraiya lifted his head in time to see about 15 angry women leering down at him, eyes glowing. He gulped slightly as he looked to Tsunade, then really gulped as he looked towards the angered woman once more. Get him! One of them shouted before they swarmed and attacked the sage from every angle. Checked in there earlier to see who was in there, didn't you? The Naruto said as she sweat dripped at the fray before him. Yep. Tsunade had an evil smirk as she watched Jiraiya be beaten. All ninja women were in there, right? Naruto asked in a dull tone, eyes shifting over to Tsunade for a few moments. Yep. Oh. He's going to be sore for a while. Yep. Think that'll teach him a lesson. Tsunade sighed. Nope. She knew almost nothing would deter his peeping nature. As the woman began to leave, feeling they'd taken all their pent-up rage on Jiraiya, the clearly bruised man lay in obvious pain. After the last woman gave him a final kick in the ass, Naruto hinged back into himself as he laughed at the white-haired shinobi. Jiraiya moaned. Well, you could help me now. He said, clearly in pain. I'm not healing that. Tsunade said as she walked over, eyeing a bruise on the man's eyebrow that seemed to pulse and twitch. Naruto laughed harder at Tsunade's comment, causing Jiraiya to raise his unswollen eyebrow. What is it you find so funny, brat? He growled out, making Naruto laugh harder. And where did that pretty lady go? I was hoping she'd give me some inspiration. He said glumly. Naruto snickered a bit more. As Jiraiya got more focused, he stood up and glared at Tsunade. So, what brings you here, oh great-breasted one? Jiraiya asked with a smirk. Tsunade was about to hit the man, but decided it would be easier to talk to him conscious than to babble onto a corpse. Ignoring that, she hissed out through a clenched jaw. We need to work together to stop the sand sound invasion that will happen during the second part of the Shoyunin exam. Now, you can either cut the jokes and focus, or I can use your dead naked corpse for Orochimaru bait. Tsunade seethed out. Jiraiya and Naruto both shuddered at the thought. Can't you just punch me instead? Jiraiya said with a nervous smile. Tsunade's eyes narrowed. Okay, sheesh. And besides, last I heard Orochimaru was found dead in the Forest of Death. Threat null and void. But it's the thought that counts. Jiraiya said, switching from serious to joking about. And if I'm not mistaken, it was this kid right here who did him in too. Jiraiya said, pointing to Naruto, who smirked. Which also means he's the. Jiraiya trailed off, looking to Tsunade and patting his stomach. Yep, I'm the one who keeps the fuzzball in check. Naruto said with a smirk. No sooner were the words out of his mouth did he feel Kiba returning to him. Wow, that was quick. What did you use all the chakra on? He thought to the fox. Kiba laughed slightly. Well, you know. Little this, little that. The fox's smile widened. You seem to be in a really good mood. Mind sharing why? Not particularly, no, Kiba snorted a laugh. Jiraiya looked thoughtful for a moment before smiling. So he knows. He knows, Tsunade smiled. I know, Naruto nodded. And I'm guessing you brought him to me to get me to train him then? Jiraiya asked, looking intently on his soon-to-be new charge. Yes. Train him, Tsunade said, slightly amused, stressing the word train. Yes. Train me. Naruto smirked as the white-haired man's eye twitched at them both for repeating the last few words he said. Stop that. Jiraiya said with a sigh. And if you do something for me, I might consider it. Only because Tsunade asked so nicely. He said, rubbing a bruise. And the fact that you remind me of someone. Okay. What do you want me to do? Naruto asked, knowing full well what the answer would be. Jiraiya looked thoughtful for a minute as his mouth curled up into a perverted smile. Well, if you can find me a beautiful woman who will let me, research and possibly minus. Nothing perverted. Tsunade snapped and cracked her knuckles for emphasis on the unspoken or else. Jiraiya gulped as he nervously held up his hands in a feeble attempt to protect himself from the fuming Tsunade. On second thought. I got something else for you to prove your worth. Heh heh heh. The perverted nin looked through his pockets for a moment before he found what he was looking for. Is that a? Naruto trailed off. No. It's a balloon. Jiraiya yelled. He blew air into it so show its round inflated shape. A balloon. He stared at it, thinking before it clicked. Oh. Naruto smirked as he watched the Sannin fill it with water. Jiraiya began walking to a more secluded area, motioning for the pair to follow. There. I want you to pop this balloon, only using your chakra. Jiraiya said before filling another balloon. Like this. As the water spun faster and faster, the balloon began to push out in every direction, then suddenly it burst, spewing water everywhere. Naruto smirked, as did Tsunade. Now, if you can do this before the week is up, I'll agree to train you, brat. Jiraiya said as he watched Naruto look at the balloon. Tell you what, I bet that he'll get it before the end of the day, and if I win you let him sign the summoning scroll, Tsunade said, rubbing her hands together. Ha ha. Is that so? If you lose. Jiraiya smirked, you can't hit me for a whole month. Deal. The two shook hands. As they broke apart, Naruto began to build his energy to burst the balloon. Within seconds the balloon popped. Naruto looked up expectantly. I win. Tsunade laughed with an all-knowing smirk. Wah what? How? Whenever you bet on things you lose. Jiraiya yelled, eye twitching. Tsunade shrugged. I've learned that I always lose when I bet against this kid. She smirked at the face the white-haired nin made. Fine, but I bet he won't even be able to summon a tadpole. He grumbled out miserably. Naruto laughed as he cracked his knuckles. If I can summon Kiba to take down the snake freak, then I think I can handle Gamabunta. Naruto laughed at the expression that befell the older man's face. Don't worry, the fur ball gets out now, and then, but all he does is terrorize people with his bad jokes. Naruto laughed while Jiraiya's face turned to steel. You let the Kiba run around freely. Jiraiya half yelled, clearly trying to hide what he really felt. Do you have any idea just how much damage that fox could cause? He took a calming breath and continued very slowly. If he breaks free from you, he'll try to take revenge on the village. Naruto shook his head. He's been free before, and the village is still standing. He cheats at cards though. When I heard what happened with Orochimaru, I thought you used Kyubi's chakra, not the fox itself. The white-haired man half yelled, clearly angry at the blonde kid. Let me talk to him. At the very least I might be able to scare some sense into him. Kyubi said with a deep sigh. There goes my good mood. He mumbled more to himself than Naruto. Just because I'm a demon doesn't mean I'm evil to the core. Fuzzball wants to talk to you. Naruto said simply, making Jiraiya flinch a little. Tsunade looked sternly at the white-haired man. Perhaps now is as good a time as any to explain then. Poof. Kyubi looked up to Jiraiya, who blinked and shuddered as he looked into the fox's eyes. The fox grinned evilly, making the man flinch slightly, but he stood his ground. The fox then burst out laughing. I guess I'll begin then, unless someone else wants to. Kyubi said as he yawned. When no one replied, the fox continued. Maybe I should make an audio recording of this speech so I won't need to repeat myself to everyone you know. The fox shot an annoyed glance to the blonde, who shrugged. Well then. 24.24.24. Kyubi's adventure idea from a grandma hat. Kyubi smirked and jumped out of the tree, making sure there was no one beneath him. When he got back to solid ground, he began looking for the rabbit he had smelled earlier. Kyubi padded along, sniffing the air looking for his prey. As he was walking around, he saw something better than a rabbit, and decided to go after it instead. A wild turkey was scratching around looking for food. Little did the bird know it would soon become food. Kiba quietly moved forward, twitching his tail in excitement. I haven't had a turkey in a while, he thought to himself. He got as close as he could before he ran out and grasped his jaws firmly around the bird's neck. Once the fox had eaten his fill, he began his search anew for more prey. His hunt eventually brought him to one of the training grounds. Kiba looked around, but didn't spot anyone. What he did spot, however, was something that made his mouth water. Chicken. The fox barked out excitedly. I haven't had a chicken for at least a year. It must have escaped from a farm. Oh well, mine now. Kiba licked his lips as he moved into a bush, ready to go for the next kill. Wahoo! A call from behind startled the bird, and it flapped away in terror. Kiba growled as he watched his prey go. He stood out of the covering of the bush and looked to see Kiba and Orochimaru about to do something. The fox watched with interest, but as soon as Kiba turned to his direction, he ducked down. Orochimaru yipped to his master, and Kiba felt them moving quickly towards them. Heave. Something to practice our tracking skills on. Alright, let's go. Kiba yelled. Kiba crouched lower, hoping they hadn't noticed him. Unfortunately, they had. A soft hissing sound was heard, and suddenly something very wet and very warm trickled onto the red fox's head and back. One whiff, as well as a call from Kiba, confirmed what had happened. Dynamic marking? Kiba called as the little dog yipped in return. We got him now. Okay, I'm pissed. The fox growled out. Kiba looked around, hearing a voice speak. Damn mutt. He better be glad he's one of Naruto's friends, or I'd eat him. Not only did he scare off my prey, he used his humiliating thing on me. Kiba growled, making Orochimaru yelp as Kiba stepped out of the bush and into an open clearing. Alright. A fox. Kiba yelled, watching the red fox. Orochimaru yipped excitedly, and the two came closer to the small angered animal. Yes, here's good. I will have revenge. Kiba half yelled a malicious grin as he looked up to the high trees. He looked back at Kiba, who stopped and began to shiver as the fox began pouring killer intent towards the young genin. Kiba watched in horror as the fox's body quivered as it grew and its tail split into three. Kiba couldn't move even if he wanted to. He obviously made a mistake. Demon? He tried to yell, only to find his voice come out as a barely audible whisper. Before him stood a 60-foot-tall fox, just 40 feet shorter than the trees that surrounded them. Kiba flicked his tail, taking down one of the smaller trees with ease. Kiba would have probably wet himself if not for the fact he had just gone. Kiba locked eyes with the small mutt before him, his fiery chakra instantly burning up anything Kiba left on his fur. I'm gonna die. Kiba squeaked out. Orochimaru whimpered. The fox began to laugh with a smirk that showed his long, very sharp, pointed teeth. Suddenly the killer intent eased a bit as Kiba turned slightly. Kiba felt his shoulders sag, thinking the demon might just leave him alone. Kiba's smirk broadened as he lifted his leg. Dynamic marking? He growled out, making Kiba more afraid than he had ever been before. Unfortunately for him, his mouth dropped open in fear. As Kiba relived himself, Kiba was washed away into the woods as a yellow river flowed out. Kiba and Orochimaru became thoroughly soaked to the bone. And that takes care of that. The fox smirked, feeling a warm and fuzzy feeling coming over him. As he shrunk back down, he shook himself to get his fur to lie flat. Kiba vowed to never use his dynamic marking again on anything that wasn't an inanimate object, or on something that wasn't an enemy. It was also the day Kiba and Orochimaru developed a fear of dark red foxes. Chapter 25. Naruto raced through the trees, trying to get back to Sasuke and Kakashi as fast as he could. Jiraiya had a surprisingly calm response to the news he heard, although Naruto guessed it was mainly due to the fact that Tsunade threatened him. She had stayed back with him to try to come up with a plan of action to counter the sound and sand invasion. It would also prove for certain whether or not Orochimaru had been successfully killed, or if he had found some way to survive. Knowing that snake, he had something up his sleeve. Tenacious bastard. he muttered as he jumped down into the clearing where he had left Sasuke in the care of Kakashi. Naruto looked over to the two and simply raised a brow. He stared as he watched the spectacle set out before him. Sasuke walked into, or rather fell on, a string that triggered a trap, which of course hit Sasuke square in the back of the head. The item exploded and bathed the dark-haired nin in a white cloud for a few seconds. When it cleared, Naruto swallowed a laugh as Sasuke scowled and began walking again. Flower? You're hitting him with flour? I thought you were going to train him? Naruto said as he came over to Kakashi while keeping a wary eye on the white-powdered Sasuke. I am training him. The strings are laced with chakra, so he has to try to sense them. Some are harder to sense than others, but if he breaks a wire, well, you saw. Kakashi finished happily, only momentarily looking up from his book. How long have you been doing this? Naruto asked, watching Sasuke run into another trap. Sasuke ducked as another flower bomb came his way and smirked. Oh, not too long. It'll be a full 5 minutes soon. Kakashi replied with an eye smile. Sasuke tripped another wire, setting loose another sack of powder. Sasuke let out a frustrated yell as he stomped towards a tree. You just wanted to read your book instead of fighting him. Naruto half mumbled. The silver-haired Jounin made an innocent face, never looking up from the book. A whooshing noise was heard and Naruto and Kakashi looked up towards its source. Sasuke had gotten fed up with Kakashi's obstacle course and burned everything in the field within a 10-meter radius. Guess he gives up, Kakashi said with a smile. Naruto's sweat dropped and went over to stomp on the nearest lingering flame to put it out. He has to learn that there's more to power than just brute strength. Kakashi sighed as he threw something towards Sasuke. Sasuke caught it and smirked. Well, at least he's improving, Naruto said with a half-hearted smile. Slowly, but surely, Kakashi said as he threw a wooden kuni at Sasuke. Sasuke ducked out of the way and gave a satisfied grunt. But, since you're back, he's all yours, Kakashi said with an eye smile and a wave. Okay then, so any suggestions? Naruto asked as Sasuke walked over, trying to act like he knew where he was going. Yeah. You might want to put your pant leg out. I think you may have caught fire, Kakashi said as he poofed away. Naruto blinked and looked down. His pant leg was smoldering. He quickly got rid of the glowing embers, then turned to Sasuke, who was standing smugly by a slightly singed tree holding a wooden kunai. So where'd you run off to, dope? He asked as Naruto approached. Ah. There was a ramen sale that was only on from noon to 5. Naruto lied. Figures. Sasuke grunted as he launched himself at Naruto. Naruto sidestepped, but Sasuke turned and attacked. Naruto smirked as he jumped back and made a dozen shadow clones. Sasuke attacked the nearest one, making it disappear into oblivion. Naruto had all his clones suppress their chakra signatures until Sasuke seemed barely able to sense them. Suddenly, Sasuke turned away from the clones and threw a kunai into the woods at a slightly stronger chakra surge. A clang was heard as a sound nin came out. The nin sneered at Sasuke as 2 more sound nin came out from the brush. The first nin looked tall, but was somewhat malnourished, looking at how thin he was. He had greasy slicked hair and his face was covered. The other 2 looked similar to the first, except they looked a little more filled out. The second was shorter with brown hair, while the third had flame red hair. The first one spoke. His voice was raspy and low, but was full of malice. Well, look what we came upon here. He spoke slowly, letting the venom drip from each word. Seems we could thin out the competition, the brown-haired one said with a sneer. Sasuke took a few paces back and stood beside Naruto. I think you might want to take the blindfold off for this, Naruto whispered to Sasuke, who nodded and removed the cloth. Sasuke blinked a few times, letting his eyes adjust to the sun. He glared at the opposing nin through his sun blindness. I'd just like to see you try, Naruto yelled, and launched his clones into battle. The sound nin countered the shadow clones easily and the 3 split up. Naruto and Sasuke each went to the closest enemy. I thought Kakashi said there was going to be a punishment if I took it off, Sasuke mumbled as he slashed his kunai across the red-haired enemy's shoulder, his eyes finally adjusting. As the red-haired nin jumped away, Sasuke figured out what said punishment was. He twitched his brow and brought his hands together. Release. Oh God, please release. He yelled. The red-haired nin watched confused at what the Uchiha was doing, letting his guard down and giving a Naruto clone an opportunity to knock him out. Sasuke looked to the clone, shuddered, blinked a few times, then activated his Sharingan. Oh thank God. He was punched in the stomach by the greasy black-haired sound nin. Naruto finished off the brown-haired nin and rushed over to help Sasuke. Naruto slashed at the black-haired nin, giving him a cut across his cheek. The nin glared at the two before growling at his situation, catching sight of his fallen comrades. Perhaps it would be wise to make a tactical retreat. The nin's voice was sour, but still dripping in molasses as he picked up his buddies and walked away. Sasuke took a deep breath and looked to Naruto. That'll teach them, Sasuke said with a satisfied scoff. Naruto stared at the spot where the greasy black-haired nin had disappeared. There's something about that one. Yeah, they shouldn't come back to fight any more of us, he said as happily as he could muster. Naruto turned back to Sasuke and raised a brow. The fight's over, you can get rid of the Sharingan. No, I can't, Sasuke interrupted. Kakashi put a strong genjutsu on that blindfold. I can only see through it with the Sharingan. Sasuke looked around for the accused piece of cloth. And? Naruto said, trying not to laugh at the face Sasuke made as he stared at the blindfold. Nude. Sasuke said the single word with a large shudder. He quickly tied the blindfold back on and sighed. Never thought I'd be happy to be blind. Naruto suppressed a laugh. Who would have guessed that his ultimate weakness would be nakedness? The fox laughed, causing Naruto to laugh as well. Sasuke tried to suppress a blush. The moon was high overhead when Naruto and Sasuke decided to call it quits. Naruto had tried to play a game of hide and seek. Unfortunately, that only resulted in a small part of the forest being burnt to a crisp, leaving Naruto to lecture about how a person can't just burn all his problems. Generally, Sasuke had made some great improvements. The two had gone their separate ways by now, but Naruto had wanted some time to practice his own jutsus. He found a deserted spot in one of the training grounds and decided it would be a good time to try the body flicker technique he was taught back in the Forest of Death. He smiled at the memory and built up his energy. When he felt the optimal amount, he took off. It looked to him like he was running, although he only took a few steps. Everything was a blur around him, making it hard to distinguish what was what. And thus smacked into a tree. The hidden onlooker watched in amazement as Naruto was there 1 second and gone the next in a quick flash of yellow and orange. A thump was heard, revealing Naruto's new location and position on his back. Leaves shuddered down from the impact, some landing on Naruto's now red face. The onlooker jumped down from hiding just as Naruto tried to do the jutsu again. Ah! Watch it, brat. Tsunade? What are you doing here? Naruto looked down at the woman he had toppled over. She stood up, taking Naruto by the back of his collar. How? Where did you learn to do that? She half yelled to the dangling teen. Well, Kiba brought me to the border of life and death, and I met my parents and my dad taught me how to do it. Naruto answered happily. You met the 4th Hokage. Tsunade's eyebrow twitched. Naruto nodded. And you didn't ask him how he got out of the Hokage paperwork? She screamed, leaving Naruto to cover his ears. Naruto's ears were throbbing, and the Sannin was fuming. Well, he told me so I didn't need to ask. Naruto said nervously. Tsunade glared at him, her eyes portraying a warning that he had better start talking. He said that he would assign them as missions. Ones with greater importance were A or S ranked, so on and so on. Naruto was dropped to the ground. Can't believe I didn't do that. She mumbled somewhat angrily. Well, that's not what I've come to get you for. Come on. She ran off, leaving a stunned Naruto to only follow. Soon they came to their destination. Naruto looked up at the Konoha wall. Jiraiya was on top of it, seemingly inspecting it. Naruto followed Tsunade up and stood with the perverted Sannin. That should do it, he said with a sigh. Naruto looked down at the symbol painted along the top of the wall. So what's it do? It should cut down on entry points. Drea answered. It's to reinforce the wall so it will be harder to break down. Hopefully this will help slow them down, or redirect them to weaker points, he said as he set the seal. It glowed bright blue for a few seconds, then dimmed away, and went out of sight. We were thinking if we reinforced the whole wall except for a few slots nearest the arena. If we could redirect the enemy there, it wouldn't take as long to respond because the majority of our ninja would already be there, Tsunade said. It's not foolproof, but it will provide extra protection, Naruto agreed. Drea handed him the seal layout as well as some ink and a brush. Go along this wall and paint as many as these things as you can. Connect them with this symbol. He pointed to a separate symbol from the central array. I'm sure you know how to set them right. Naruto nodded. Okay, let's go. I have asked the Hokage to set some ANBU around to help, so we should have this whole wall done by tonight. Naruto nodded and took off along the wall until he felt a place that didn't yet have a reinforcement seal placed on it. He quickly got to work, sighing. It's going to be a long night. Hyliga Hinata was walking through her compound looking around. She was on a self-appointed mission, and she had to do her best to succeed in it. She listened to the sound of clanging metal, and realized where her target was. She raced towards the training grounds and saw her father with her cousin Neji. Her eyes locked to the younger male waiting for her opportunity. When her father told Neji that he was done for the day, she tensed. Once the man was gone, she pounced. Or rather ran out, and half-tackled Neji to the ground. Neji stood up and scowled at the younger Hyliga. What? He snapped. I want you to teach me how to do the Hyliga D death glare. She yelled out quickly with as much confidence as she could muster. Neji was taken back, obviously not expecting the question. Very well then. It's good to see you're actually taking more interest in our clan's techniques. Neji walked over to a nearby blackboard and began to teach. He drew a few quick sketches of proper posture and proper eye form. Within an hour, Hinata had gotten it down. She had done what Neji had told her to and glared into a mirror. She gave herself chills. She never thought she could master the look. Even Neji had agreed that it could give people chills. Although she was pretty sure he was only saying that so he could be free of her. As she went to bed that night, only one thought crossed her mind. Next time I'm out with Naruto-kun, I'll really give all those people something to look at. She couldn't help but feel a little smug at the thought of the villagers backing down from her new power. That's it for this part. If you enjoyed it, then like, share and subscribe, and also check out the playlist.